Hey everyone, this is Manshark Sub LPs. I'm Sub, and this is Secret of Mana. This is specifically the more modern remake of Secret of Mana, but let's just get right into it. We're going to start a new game in English with English subtitles, and we're going to use the default name, which unfortunately is Randy. Let's get my mouse off the screen there. Don't know what that might keep on popping up. There was an issue with that in testing. But let's watch an introduction.
Long ago, the world prospered and humanity thrived thanks to a power known as mana. However, humans soon sought to use mana to create the ultimate weapon, a floating battleship called the Mana Fortress. This greedy arrogance angered the gods, who in turn unleashed vicious beasts into the world. A violent war between the mana beasts and the fortress engulfed the world in poison and fire until mana had all but disappeared. In humanity's bleakest hour, a hero wielding the mana sword appeared and destroyed the fortress. The world was left in shambles, and yet humanity persevered, and there was peace throughout the land. But as time passes, so history repeats.
So there you go. Now I believe we actually have another cutscene. So
Hey,
that's us.
guys! Wait up! Whoa! Shh! Be quiet, stupid. If the Elder finds us
The
here,
big
we're
guy
done
here is
for.
Elliot, and
Yeah.
the little guy with a pointy hat
We're not supposed to be here.
is Timothy.
Everyone in the village knows about the ghost.
You really believe that old fib? The grown-ups just say there's a ghost to scare us away.
Elliot was, I don't know, I guess born with a very
But I
unfortunate
did
facial
hear Grandma
deformation.
say she saw something shiny by the falls when she was little.
That mouth.
Maybe it's treasure. Let's go find it.
I don't know what's going on with Timothy's hat.
I'm gonna fall!
Thanks for helping, guys. Alright, so we landed in about 2 inches of water, but we're good. Alright. Giving me control yet? There we go. So now we have control
Oh, there's no way back up.
after the dialogue.
What am I gonna do?
Alright. We are in. Oof, that's a bit janky. Recording. Okay, we seem to have evened out. Don't know what that jank was about. I thought it might have been the recording software. Right, so this is Randy. We have none of our real controls at the moment, just movement. So I'm going to just move on with things, but let me just explain first. So up in the top right corner, you can see a sort of basic outline. That's what it actually originally looked like. Except the circle would be replaced with a sprite of our character. See, this game was originally on the Super Nintendo. I think I've mentioned this before in other playthroughs of other games. But being on the Super Nintendo, it was a cartridge-based game, and so it was very limited in terms of size and what you could do with it. That will become very, very relevant shortly, but for the moment, I guess what we could say is it wasn't three-dimensional at all. I mean, you had the map, but you were moving around a sprite and attacking with a sprite and all that sort of thing. But the 3D remake's done a really good job of making it look pretty. I always thought it looked pretty good, but you know, this really does look pretty. And there are definitely other changes that have come into effect from the transition to proper three-dimensional like graphics like this.
Listen,
Nice cover of the name there because it was customizable, so we can't say Randy. But the sword there in the stone, which I know, cliche, is talking to us. We want to. So the story is, we are Randy. We live in a place called Potos Village, and we were out exploring with our friends Elliot and Timothy. And now
this way, but I'll never get through here without a weapon.
we need to cut down these. We can't walk between these plants. We need to cut through them to get there. So we're going to go and get a weapon. These cutscenes also never happened, of course, in the original.
Who are you? And what's a sword doing here?
It's honestly a pretty shitty looking sword, isn't it? But you might remember it from the intro cinematic.
What's with this light? Oh, ghost!
Listen. I entrust the sword to you.
Huh? What do you mean? What's up with this sword?
It's clearly glowing.
The light's fading already. Oh, I have to get back to the village!
The main problem with Remake is the loading screens. Okay, we've got proper full control now, so you can see down the bottom we actually have a HP bar. We've got 50 HP. The original would just give you a number. We've also got a few other things, so the sword is telling us that we have the sword equipped, and the other bar is actually our charge up meter, which, yeah, so when we make an attack, we go to 0%, then we count up to 100%. You can attack while that bar isn't charged, but you do very little damage. Let's see, what else do we have? Yep, so you can also use your percentage to run. We don't have access to the Y button yet. The X button brings up our menu. So you can see here we've got our weapon screen. We only have swords at the moment. Press down. These are all of our... so what do we have? We've got a game log, which is just telling us what's happened. This was not in the original. It would not tell you what had happened or where to go or anything like that. You could get a world map, which is what's there on the side there. It looks very nice. Very climatologically accurate with that desert and yeah. But yeah, this is supposed to tell you, like, give you hints of where you're supposed to be going and that sort of thing. The original didn't do that. Let's see, we've got stats. This is an authentic old school JRPG. Without, like, it does have environment battles, which you'll see in a moment. What else do we have? Targeting, which we can't use. Equip gear, which is where we actually put our clothes on. So now we're wearing overalls and nothing else. Options. I think I've got the volume set properly. Notably, you can switch between the original soundtrack and the soundtrack of a remake. I haven't heard all the remake songs yet, but general consensus is... don't worry about this at the moment. General consensus is that the original songs are just way better, and I have to agree. I've got the soundtrack and I love it. This is one of my favorite games at Magic level, which we don't have access to. This guide was also not present, so it'll tell us what characters are, what monsters are, and if we've got any new weapons. Alright, I'm gonna hit that menu button accidentally so many times, just because it's where I'd kind of expect.
What's a rabbi doing in a place like this?
To be in a reasonable place. Okay, these are enemies. They are the weakest enemy in the game. They have, I think it's 20 HP. Okay, and one has just dropped a treasure chest, from which we've got candy. So if we come here, we'll see we've got candy now. This is where our usable items are. Candy will restore about 100 HP. When it says approximately, it means exactly. Okay, we interrupted that rabbi's attack. And okay, this is really bad, but like, things don't always drop treasure chests. Now I just want to check something. Okay, good. As we use our weapons and later on spells, they level up. I would very much like to get our sword to level 1. And additionally, okay, I have 2 XP and then our next level is in 14. I'd like to level up at least twice. Oh, yep, that's fine. Okay, that rabbi did attack us, but it missed. So yeah, this is one of the first RPGs I actually ever played on the Super Nintendo. And I gotta say I loved it. I had a really hard time with it because I didn't understand exactly how RPGs worked or anything like that. But really strangely. So this was back in the day when games came with instruction manuals and weren't easy as shit. You know, get off my lawn and all that sort of thing. The instruction manual of Secret of Mana included a partial walkthrough. From the start of the game up to an area called... I think it was up to the first part of the Fire Temple. I'm getting a bit ahead of myself, spoilers, but... yeah, I think that's about as far as it went, and then after that it was like, okay, now we've got you started, figure it out yourself. In addition to that manual, I also had a game guide. Now, this was before the days of GameFAQs, like before the days of the internet, basically, or easy access to the internet to work stuff out. And this guide, it was really weird. I have 2 of them. Okay, we've hit our maximum capacity for candy, which is 4. You can have at most 4 of any usable item. And you can hit multiple things, it just depends on the arc of your weapon. Okay, our weapon skill has increased. Now, yeah, I think Rabbites only drop candy from now on. If we come here to our weapon, you can actually see 2 things here. One, we've hit level 1, but we haven't increased beyond level 1. You can also see that it says Orbs 1. We need to actually upgrade our weapon before we can further upgrade our weapon skill. So what does that do for us? Well, now we can attack and hold in the button, and see we charge a little meter, and now we walk around really slowly. And then when something gets into range and attacks us, we can do a special attack. So let's charge up another one and let him go, and hopefully not take so much damage dealing with the... There we go. Oh, and we critical as well. Now, if I remember right... Speaking of remembering things right, there are a lot more Rabbites here than I last fought. Not involved with treasure chests, and yeah, we've leveled up. So now our HP is 59, and all of our other stats should have increased a little bit as well. We're also getting money from killing these things. Not a lot. That's the way to the village. I don't want to go there just yet. How much are these things giving me? 27. Oops, that's the wrong one. That's what I wanted. 26. Ugh. Alright. Sorry for the early story grind. But, you know, I think it'll make it a lot easier for us in a second. Yeah, so one of my favourite games. And... oh yeah, I was talking about the guides. So... the guides I had were not specific to Secret of Mana. They were like, here's the top 50 guides sort of thing, and it was weird. They had like a bunch of Super Nintendo games in them. It was a complete walkthrough for Secret of Mana, but only... it didn't start where we are now. It started, hilariously, at the end of the walkthrough in the instruction manual. So if you didn't have that, who knew what you were doing? And there's actually a really interesting part of this game which comes up fairly early, where there's a massive branching path which eventually leads you back to where you, like, it goes back to the same path at some point. But there's a wrong way to do it. Like, you can still technically win, but you don't want to do it the wrong way, because if you do it the wrong way, you've made things so much harder on you. And it's just not pleasant. We don't need any candy. If I was being real paranoid, I'd heal up and take it, but these things do so little damage that it just doesn't matter. So, as evidenced immediately, there is grind in this game. Whoops. There's 100% grind in this game. It's an old school JRPG. It has to happen. From gaining levels yourself, to upgrading your weapon stats, like to upgrading your weapon skill, sorry, to upgrading your skill with magic, which we don't have that yet, and I have, of course, forgotten to put my phone on silent, so good on me. Cost me 4 HP to do that. Let's see, where was I? Yeah, so we don't have magic yet, and we won't actually get it for a while. But when we do, it upgrades in a very similar fashion to weapon skill. You use it to upgrade it. Now, young Subby had an issue with this. Young Subby had a big issue with this, which I will cover when we get to magic, because there's no point explaining it right now. Because I'll forget that I've explained it, and explain it then. So instead, while we're in the relatively... Oops. Accidentally read the sign. Okay, see there how we actually did a jump attack? That can sometimes happen. No real issue with it. We're about to level up when we kill one more rabbit. There we go, level 3 now. That should do us. We will kill the rest of these guys just to be pedantic about things. See, our strength's actually gone up enough that we can one-shot them now. Assuming that we're at 20. I mean, not 20, 100%. Alright, grand. Let's go into the village. Welcome to the village theme.
Did you see that? Something lit up the sky near the falls a moment ago. I have a bad feeling about this.
Maybe I should increase the volume of the voiceovers just a tad. Let's pump it to 30, see how that goes. So, as you can tell, from there being voiceovers in almost every part of this, you know what, let's cover this first. This little sign outside a building means it's an inn. Also, 69 HP, nice. So, they gave this in free beds, so we'll definitely get free party members when we come back here later. This is the innkeeper.
One night is 5 GP.
All merchants dance. Yes, we will actually save the game. We'll make sure to save it over this slot here.
One night is 5 GP.
No. No. The top slot is the actual game that I played of this when I bought it. So you can tell we're going to be here for about 36 hours.
The Elder was looking for you. What did you do this time?
We're known as a bit of a troublemaker around this place. That sign means it's a store, by the way.
On
So
an errand for
merchant,
the Elder? Don't die. Welcome. What'll it...
he'll sell us stuff. Now, we're already wearing overalls. We can wear a bandana. We've already got max candy. Medical herbs remove status effects from you. Cup of Wishes revives you. Yeah, so when you die in this, you'd like become a ghost and follow the active player around. I mean, spoiler, we're not going to stay Randy forever. We're going to get more guys. We're going to buy a bandana.
Anything else?
We don't need to sell, so... Let's go to the armor screen. So, we've already got something on our torso, the overalls. We don't have anything to equip to our arms, but we'll put the head on, and there you go, that raises all of our stuff up. Quite nicely, actually. Big increase to our evade, and 2 points to defense and magic defense. Now, notably, those conditions over in the lower left, the 10 or so conditions, the original didn't tell you what you were protected against, depending on what you wore. So little quality of life improvement there. Let's just head up here. Just go in all these little houses. The eldest house is in the top right.
Hey, stop playing with that sword before you hurt someone. I'll tell the elder on you.
Can't actually swing the sword inside. So yeah, as you can tell, everybody in this village has a voice actor, which is really interesting and pretty cool, actually.
There's an unfamiliar face in here. He looks kind of scary.
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
So that sign means it's a bar. That has no real effect on
I
things.
think that guy is a knight. What's he doing in a little village like ours?
I love it that they kept the merchants
it's
all
you.
dancing.
Elliot just stopped by, but he didn't look too good. What happened?
Cool. So that's obviously the knight. Very scary looking. So that's the elder up there. We're just gonna sort of wander down here.
Help! Monsters have surrounded the village! We'd better stay inside until we know what's going on out there.
Yeah, he won't let us out. Alright, let's go up and, I guess, face the music.
Oh, you're all right. Elliot just told me what happened.
I thought you were a goner.
That's why I told you not to bring someone like him along.
You idiots! None of you were supposed to wander into that area. What's that you have there? Oh no, it couldn't be.
Cool! Did you find the treasure?
Way to go!
What have you done? That's the mana sword. There's no way you could have pulled it free.
Fucking whoops.
Mana sword? But legend says the village will be destroyed if it's removed.
I never thought it'd come to this. The mana sword is said to protect the village from disaster. But now...
Aha! So you're the reason all those monsters are attacking us.
Guys, correlation is not causation.
You yanked out the sword and doomed the whole village. It's your fault, you outsider.
Now, this is an interesting note. We're not actually originally from this village. The original did kind of convey that. Oh yeah, he's gonna beat us up now.
Stop!
So the interesting thing about the original Secret of Mana, so it's known as Secret of Mana in the West, like in America and English-speaking nations. In Japan, I believe it was Seiken Densetsu 2. I'm mangling that mispronunciation. Like, I'm no good at pronouncing a lot of Japanese words. And it was originally designed to be on a CD. Now, the Super Nintendo used cartridges, which had significantly lower storage capacity. But when it came to the Japanese version of the game, that wasn't an issue. Because, as anybody who's ever watched a speedrunning video, well, most speedrunning videos can tell you, Japanese characters say a lot more in a lot less space than English characters can, in terms of language. So a lot of stuff was cut in the translation. When I remember it and when we get to it and things like that, I'll try and fill you guys in. But a lot of it was cut, and some of it makes things not quite make sense, or if you had a bit more context to things, it'd be better. So, we're an outsider to this village because we were, as to everybody's understanding, abandoned here as an orphan baby. Our mother came to this village, pregnant with us, gave birth to us, and then died or vanished or went away or something like that. We're not sure.
Shut up! It's all your fault!
So, Elliot's beating us around the place.
Leave me alone! An earthquake!
controller vibrated like crazy.
Help! I'm a monster! You have a sword, why don't you use it?
Welcome to the boss theme, which I think is one of the best goddamn themes, like, just out there. This is Mantis Ant, by the way. We don't quite know how to use our sword.
Calm down and study the enemy's movements to look for an opening.
That's the dude in yellow. Okay, this is actually a fairly tough fight. He's got a few nasty abilities for us. And spells. Okay, we're up. And he blocks. Oh. But the good thing is, there's a spell on us, so spells lock you in place while they happen. Shit. Yep. He does an attack which knocks you unconscious, which you can't do anything about. So he's going to get over here and he's probably going to make an attack. No, good. That's a spell. It missed, luckily. I'm not sure if it's if it attacks you from the front. See. Okay, we got him. You can't die in that boss fight, by the way. Every time you go to 0 HP, the guy up top revives you. And where is it? Yep, we top off HP for killing a boss. And we obtained the sword orb.
You did well. Wait there. I'll pull you up.
I'll just take a moment, have a look at that skull in the top left. And also the one down the bottom right. Why does it have 3 eye sockets?
Stay back! I didn't do nothing!
Yeah, get out of here, Elliot. Did it actually give us the
seem
sword?
to be in possession of the real
Oh yeah, here
mana
we go.
sword. This is troubling.
Why is that?
Legend says the sword can only be retrieved by a knight when the world is in peril. But you are far too young for such a responsibility. Something must be wrong with the mana sword.
The fact that it's called the Rusty Sword,
You take it.
you know.
No, I cannot. The sword has lost its power. It must be restored. Only the one who pulled it free can do that.
Then what should I do?
Visit Sage Luca in the Water Palace. The sage has protected these lands for over 200 years. You would do well to listen to her advice.
Hey! The Elder wants you to come to his house.
Get out
I'll
of
be
here,
off.
Timothy.
I have duties to attend. My name is Gemma, and I'll be waiting for you at the Water Palace.
So, an example of how strapped for memory they were. In the original, Gemma's name, it was still Gemma, but it was spelled J-E-M-A. Because they couldn't spare the 5th character every time that it came up.
Get going!
Yeah, whatever. Alright, so, did they give us the sword orb? Yep, so we have the sword orb, but we still can't improve our weapon skill. We need to actually upgrade the sword before we can increase our weapon skill. Get out of that. Alright, so we need to go up and talk to the, Elder?
We can't ignore this.
We're at our wit's end. Who knows when another monster will appear?
Oh, it's you. You've really done it this time. That sword has protected us for years. Once you removed it, the monsters started attacking the village.
It's settled. We can't let him stay in the village anymore. He'll just bring more monsters.
Go!
Get out of here.
Leave here now.
I don't want to do this, but I have no choice. I banish you from this village.
So,
There's a treasure chest downstairs. Take the contents and be on your way.
I'll be kinda lonely, but it's all your fault anyway.
I knew something bad was going to happen. Curse my...
We're in danger as long as you're here.
This is all because you removed the...
I don't know why
I
these
took you in
guys
as a child, but there's nothing more I can do for
think
you.
that, like, sending me away.
Are you going somewhere? See you...
Of course, the kid doesn't understand. I think it's a couple of GP. Yeah, 50 gold. That's not bad. That's just for show. Oh my god. No. Kid. Oh, come on. Get out of there. Wow.
I took you in.
Yeah, so...
But I was there when your mother first came to this village. After she disappeared, I did my best to raise you. But today is the day we must part ways. I hope that you find your mother again someday. Goodbye.
I don't think that was in the original. I don't think that that little bit there was covered. Alright, so we've got all that we can out of this village. There's nothing else here, so let's get banished
Do you
proper.
have everything you need?
Yep.
By order of the Elder, you have been banished from Poto's village. Now be gone. By order of the...
We will never be back here. They never let us back in. Alright, so... Whoops. Let's get rid of that guy. It's just candy. So Cannon Travel Center is over this way. Welcome to the game's point-to-point based travel system. It's unorthodox. Now, I think Gemma has paid for us so far. I just want the map, that's what I want. Can I get in on that map? No. Alright. Gemma has paid for us so far. We need to go... It's not actually that far off. I kind of want to walk there. Because as fun as Cannon Travel is, there are points where we will have to use it. And there's a lot of the game where we have to use it. And this is experience for us. Okay, there's our first new enemy. It's called a lullabud. It's basically a sentient carnivorous flower. Okay, we go up to get to the water palace. If we go south, we get to the kingdom of Pandora. There's another new enemy, mush booms. If you get too close to them, they'll emit gases and spores. Alright. Beware of goblins. Take note of that. If you tape Cannon Travel, you don't get that sign, so what happens in a bit is a big surprise. Later on, you get very surprised. Okay. So a lot of enemies on this screen. Take care of it? No. Once you hit them, they actually become ambulatory. Oops, missed him. Cool. Alright. So Nico's is this way. Now. Nico is both in this place, is both an inn and a merchant. However, Nico
Welcome to Neko's. Do you need anything?
is really annoying. First of all, cat puns.
Oh, you're interested. What'll it be?
We can stay or we can shop. We'll shop.
Perfectly priced items available.
See if we can buy. He's got a lot of range. Now, you might recall that the bandana cost us 50 gold in Potos. Here it costs 100. Nico double charges on everything. However, he is one of the few places in the early game where you can get certain items, including the barrel and the fairy walnut. They are really expensive. We're not going to buy anything.
else? Be seeing you.
Give him a really annoying voice as well. He will show up throughout the place. And he will always double charge you. But sometimes he's right there and you just want to restock. Okay, all the enemies have, respawned, so let's deal with that. We could have sold him the candies because we get more of those all over the place, but you know. Not particularly interested. Okay, here we are going to meet another character.
There's a shortcut warp that leads straight to the witch, but you need a whip to cross this chasm.
So these are Pandoran soldiers.
That's
from
our
Kingdom
leader,
of Pandora.
Major Diluc. He's young, but he knows how dangerous this...
This is Major Diluc.
Major Diluc, sir. All set.
Understood. Stay focused, men. Let's move out.
And they're going to go and deal with the witch. And they did so by means of this teleportation, which we might as well use. So you need a whip to get across this. But that doesn't concern us at the moment because we're going to the water temple. Let's see. So this is the water temple up here. Very nice. And there's Gemma. So while this is one of the more accessible temples, it does have a couple of annoying things. Just like, why would you do this? So, step on the switch to spawn the stairs, walk through this water. Doesn't matter which one you use. Actually, I don't think you can use the one on the left because Gemma's there already. Meet Sage Luca.
Where's Luca? I guess I'll ask that girl over there. Hey, where do I find Luca?
Mind your manners. It's nice to see you again, Sage Luca.
You're very welcome.
So, Luca looks like a, teenage girl or something like that, but she is 200 years old. Japan. In the original, she still looked kind of like, not like one of the old lady sprites, but she didn't look young. But this really, puts it in.
Wait, you mean this little girl is 200 years old?
Gonna get a lot of exposition dumped on us in a moment. Yep.
Luca, monsters have started invading villages. This young boy just fought one himself.
You underestimate my intelligence. World news flows into this palace with the water's own currents. Mana grows ever weaker. That could explain how this child was able to take the sword from its place of rest. His actions caused the balance of mana in this area to shift. Beasts are now rampaging across the land again. Evil in the world is working to seal away the power of the mana sword forever. By defeating monsters and obtaining their orbs, you can reforge and restore the sword's mana power. It looks like your sword regained some power from vanquishing the mantis ant. There are more hidden orbs with the mana power to revive the sword. You must find them.
So up here, that up there is a mana seed. Let's see if I can go into the basement. Because I think... Okay, yeah, nothing here now. Later on, there are treasure chests that appear there. I think they have orbs in them or something like that. All good though.
Gemma, I want you to keep an eye on the Empire. It seeks the Mana Fortress's power.
So we don't know about the geopolitical situation in the world at the moment. We'll get to that.
Like the one that destroys the world in that fairy tale?
This is no fairy tale. We're talking about the real Mana Fortress, and the Empire that wants its power.
The Empire will try to break the seals on the Mana Seeds in each palace. I've already caught some Empire spies snooping around my own palace.
There are strange reports coming in from Pandora. Could the Empire be involved?
I do not know. Gemma, you should request an audience with the king and tell him to be wary of the Empire.
Understood. I'll leave now. Head for the cave in Gaia's navel. There's a dwarf blacksmith that lives in the area. Dwarves are known for their weapon-making skills. You should see if they can reforge the sword. As the sword becomes more powerful, your skills will improve, and you'll learn more abilities.
Alright, so we talk to
What frightens
Luca
you
again.
so?
It doesn't really matter which one we pick
Eons
here.
ago, the ancients used their war machine, the Mana Fortress, in a final battle against the gods. It's not a fairy tale like you were told as a child. As the battle raged and the world reached its end, a hero came with a sword and saved us all. The few who remained rebuilt the world, hoping to protect mana from those who would abuse it. You wield the legendary Mana Sword, but its power has faded. Now it's hardly better than a normal weapon. It used the last of its power to choose a new master. If the Empire restores the fortress, they'll drain the world of mana power. You must restore the Mana Sword to full power before then, or the world will be destroyed.
So, where do I fit in?
You must become a hero who is worthy
So-
of the sword.
We're not the chosen one in this situation.
Come, hold the
We were
sword
not
up to the
supposed
seed
to
on
pull
the
that
altar.
sword out. Technically, we should not have been able to pull the sword out. We're not King Arthur or anything like that. This is never really put across well in the English version, but in the Japanese version, I believe it's quite clearly put forward. But we'll get to it later when it
What
becomes more
happened?
relevant.
The seed and the sword have now synchronized. Now no matter where you are in the world, this mana seed can grant power to your mana sword. You found one of the 8 palaces. Now you must visit the others and obtain the powers
So-
of their seed.
Here's our overarching quest, is we need to go to each of the 8 mana palaces throughout the world and seal the sword to the seeds.
I worry about you out in the world with only a rusted sword. Take this spear I imbued with holy water.
And we've now gained our second of the, what we call mana weapons,
Use it along with the mana sword, and it too will regain its true power.
being the
I'll heal
spear.
you. Would you like to save the
Yeah, we might as well save the game. Oh, it's always going to default as there, so we got to be real careful about
First,
saving it properly.
take Gemma's advice and head to Gaia's navel. There you can find the underground palace. To reach Gaia's navel, head south through the kingdom of Pandora.
Okay, we can talk to her again and get a little bit more like of what we just heard, but you know, there's no real point to it. So now we need to go to Gaia's navel, which is that sort of. Hopefully, you guys can see my mouse. This area down here to the south of us. Alright, so we're going to have to go through the Kingdom of Pandora for that. And I think it's about a good enough time for me to introduce exactly how I'm going to be handling this game in terms of episodes. Because as I mentioned, there is a fair bit of grind involved at points. Particularly when you get a new weapon or things like that. Speaking of though, there you go, a new weapon. So it has 1 point more attack power. We can't use it in here because this is a peaceful zone, so we'll just go down to the south. There we go, we've got it equipped instead. And we whack people with it for some reason. Now, we don't have any skill with this weapon at the moment. Let's see, can we demonstrate that? Yeah, so it's only got 1 orb and we are powering it up as we go. So, we might as well leave it equipped for the moment, which actually leads me into what I was going to mention. When possible, I'll try and alleviate grind by doing it as we go. Oh, I don't want to walk down there just yet. I'm going to try and alleviate grind as we go, because that'll make it easier. So things like swapping in a weapon I haven't used for a bit, just so as we fight. But I will eventually end up with, you know, a reasonable, like, Randy gets this weapon, someone else gets this weapon, someone else gets this other weapon. The main thing where grind comes in is with magic. There's almost no way to remove the grind associated with magic. But what I'll do is I'm basically going to have episodes where I progress through the game and progress story and stuff like that. And then there will be an episode occasionally, only when necessary, for grinding. And that's all I will do in that episode. And I'll note that that's all that I'm going to do. I'll put it in the headline, on the title, and in the description and all that sort of thing. Maybe just in the description. My titles tend to be a bit too long as they are. But I'll put it in all caps or something like that so it's really obvious. So if you're just here for the story, that's cool. You don't have to watch those grind videos to get any of the story. And depending on how quickly I make episodes in this, I might use those. So my usual update schedule is Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, Australian Eastern Time. I'll put an episode up at varying times because sometimes I forget for a few hours and stuff like that. But when it comes to a grind episode, I might just put those up on when they fall, but like on the intervening Tuesday, Thursday, or weekend. So that'll keep the story regular. And I don't know how long this grind episode is going to be, to be honest. And I will discuss like mechanics and how particular things work and stuff like that in those episodes, but I will not progress the story. I might also just get into just discussions, like, you know, thoughts, things like that. But we'll see. So anyway, let's go down south here.
Oh no! A goblin!
And get goblined.
Ow.
Yeah.
Do not move. Stay still. Very lucky human. You will be main dish tonight.
No! Let me go!
Delicious human. Very lucky. Dancing has begun. I join in.
Best guards.
Hey, you there! What are you doing here, you idiot?
Please help me!
Shh, quiet. Come on, let's get out of here.
I owe you my life. What are you doing here?
I'm looking for someone. I saw you being taken away and thought for a second you might be him. I got the wrong guy, though. What a waste of time.
Hey, wait a minute!
Just kidding. Look, I'm in a hurry. Go back to your village, kid.
She
Wait! I didn't even get to ask her name.
was looking for dialogue.
Ha! Ha!
Oops. We accidentally did a special attack there. Alright, so we need to go south through Pandora and see what's up there. This is the major, whoops. Sometimes it just does a special attack for some reason. So now that we have two weapons, I'm gonna quickly explain the weapon glitch, which happened in the SNES version. I don't think it happens in this one. I couldn't tell you for sure, but I'm not going to use it anyway. The weapon glitch is if you have one weapon at level 1 and one level at weapon 2, you can charge the level 2 weapon up and then hot swap to the level 1 weapon, and it will not cap the level at which you can charge it to. And normally, let me just go in here. Normally you think, okay, so you can charge it up to level 8. No. No. It literally would not cap what level you could charge it to. So you could charge it up as far as you wanted. So, one quick aside, spears do not cut grass. So you actually need a slashing weapon to do that. This is going pretty well for us. That's probably just candy. Treasure chests can have traps in them, but I don't think many of the early game ones do. And most of the time it's like pretty worthless. That little guy up to the north will pop, if we walk into him, he'll pop us on the cliff above him. They kind of forget about those guys for a long time in the design of this game. I think it might have just been like a tech thing. So mushrooms give us candy. Ugh. Mushrooms are very good experience from what I recall. Just checking. 91, not bad. And there we go. Let's charge up the spear and see what the attack does. Well, that was pretty good. Alright, so we're going to go into Pandora, and I think we'll end this episode in Pandora after a little bit more explanation.
This is the Kingdom of Pandora. I was told to let you pass when you arrived. Sir Gemma's whereabouts? He has come from Tasnica to meet with our king. I believe he's in the castle now. Oh, just a warning, I wouldn't try to talk to the people in town if I were you.
So that's ominous. If we tried to come down here before going to the Water Palace, he would have blocked our path. Okay, so... not talkative. There's a store here.
Oh, a customer. Well, I don't keep much stock, but...
Alright, so he has a Kung Fu suit, which I don't think we can use, but I'm not incredibly sure about that. One thing that the remake does not do well is indicate, like I've just noticed how it does it, honestly, but the original, when a character could wear something, it would pop their face into the middle of the ring. Now what it appears to do is flash. So we can't wear the Kung Fu suit or the hair ribbon, but we can get the wristband, so we'll buy one of those.
Anything else?
Nah, we're good, mate.
Come again.
Alright, let's get that equipped. So that's armor. Yeah, not bad. So there's something going on in Pandora. Don't know what it is. This is the inn in here. I think it's the cheapest inn outside of Potos.
You staying? Hang on. That'll be 10 GP.
I don't need it. So we'll just save the game. At least saving's nice and quick. So you get a bit of a vibe down here that stuff isn't quite right.
Leave me alone. I don't know anything. It wasn't me.
Like, okay. People are either paranoid or apathetic, or they just don't talk. Which is interesting. So this is actually where the branching happens. Okay. So this house is your first indication that it's not just because people don't want to talk to you. Something is wrong in the Kingdom of Pandora. Except for this one.
Is awful.
Oh, no.
It's as though these townspeople have lost their will to live.
So this is another store. This store is way better than the one we were just in. However, he won't talk to us. So yeah, this is... Oh, geez, that was a bit of jank there.
Leave me alone.
That one just didn't want to talk to us to begin with.
This is Pandora Cat.
Okay, so here's the first branching thing that happens. We can go north. We will find one of the members of our party. They want us to do something, which is not going to Gaia's navel. We're going to do it this way because it's a way that I haven't done before, but there are 3 outcomes to this. I only originally thought that there were 2, but I've recently been shown a 3rd way, which is probably the way things are supposed to happen. It's a little bit longer, but that's fine. It means we get more experience. The other 2 ways, one was we ignore the castle and go to Gaia's navel first. I feel like we'd miss out on a bit of exposition and backstory like that. The other way is you come up here to the castle, then you try going to Gaia's navel, your party member quits because they want to do the other thing first, and then you have to go and get them later on, and the fight to get them later on in the original was really tough because you were fighting 2 enemies that could stun lock you, and it was absolutely devastating. So what we'll do is we'll just call the episode there. I'm going to do another one straight after this, so I don't need to go and save or anything. And yeah, I hope that you guys are going to enjoy Secret of Mana. It's kind of almost a developmentally important game for me in terms of my video gaming hobby, because well, as I mentioned earlier, it's one of the first RPGs I ever played, and I really enjoyed it. And I actually, one of the few games that when I was young I finished. Well, kind of finished. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Suffice to say, a lot of stuff can't really be explained until we get magic, but we'll definitely get to that. Yeah, so I might go into a little bit more about future plans next episode, because we are almost at the hour mark, and well, I've got to have something to talk about, so yeah, we'll cut that there. So in the meantime, I've been Sub, you've been yourselves. Later.